Hello, everyone. Welcome to round 7 of the day. There's been a lot going on, and we're getting ready to go into our next match. And what do we have coming up here, Jonti?
Yeah, we're into the final stretch now.
Yeah.
This is a round 7 game. We'll cut over to straight away, and then as it gets started, we'll let you know who we've got. Okay, so on the left we have Jonathan. Nope, we're back to us a sec. On the left we have Jonathan in a moment, and on the right we have I think that name needs to be updated. That's Jia Wei on the right there. Jonathan, as you say, a whopping 42 points, currently undefeated going into round 7. Nate with a 4-1-1 score going in with 31 no, a little bit more than that, sorry, for Jaya, and that'll get updated in a moment, I'm sure. So there's some cuts here. We've got all black on the sleeves,
all black and all red.
Yeah, oh, red on there. Sorry, my colorblind is kicking in
colorblind.
Again.
All right, so they've already altered their hands, and we see Jonathan inking a Queen's Castle, a no turn 1 play, but we got Amethyst coming our way again.
One of the strongest colors in the game, just the card draw, is very strong. We didn't see what was inked there, but that's fine. The new rules say that you can leave the card face up for the turn, but it is not a requirement. So as long as Jonathan is happy with what was inked there, we carry on play. He has sort of caught up there with the ink, but that's fine. We get a Flynn on turn 2. So on the left here, we've got a Amethyst Emerald deck.
And Amethyst Ruby, it looks like on the other side. You can see a Minnie Mouse and Be Prepared there in Jia Wei's hand.
This is it's an interesting matchup. I really quite dig this matchup, to be honest with you, because this is most likely going to be Jonathan putting down problems and making Jaya sort of answer them. So we see the turn to Ursula here, picking off cards, but going to be getting rid of that friends. Obviously, you see that huge Be Prepared sitting there, but it's still a few turns away. Instead, just being able to shut down the card draw next turn is pretty strong.
Yes, and Jonathan has a lot of information there. Now, so in this matchup, who do you think has advantage? Just based on ink pairings, there's a lot of variation.
There is obviously a lot of variance, yes. But I would give the it's really tricky. For me personally, Emerald Amethyst just might have the slight advantage here. But again, it's my pet deck. I'm gonna say that it's my favorite deck of the meta. But I feel like it might just have it here. One of the interesting things here is that Jonathan has a kit in hand, which is a great answer to a 2-drop, but not necessarily a great answer to a 2-drop that draws a card on play. So don't necessarily want to bounce that back necessarily. May still do it just for the tempo gain on the board. Yep. Okay. So we're going for it. But it's a tough decision that, because it's a good tempo game, but you are just letting Jaya just refuel their hand next turn.
Yeah, it seems like, with the Ruby Amethyst, that it is, when it gets into the later game is when it gets real strong. So that Jonathan is going to want to do a lot of work up front here to take as much control of the board as he can.
Absolutely. We see a rabbit coming down there for a card draw. And Kit, as great as Kit is coming down and bouncing something back, also Kit sings Friends on the other side beautifully.
Yes. Or also, Mother's Knows Best.
Yeah, also sing Mother's Knows Best beautifully as well. Just taking control of the board here in the early game, just making it so that Jaya just doesn't have any sort of way to keep stuff down. And the other thing, especially with Ruby Amethyst, you'll see a lot of the bounce package. Fox, Snake, really great cards, but they need something on the board before they're online. So
absolutely,
clearing that board is just a real good way of shutting those down.
Yeah, if you don't have a character on the board, then the MIMS won't do you any good, because if you don't have a character to bounce back, then the card states you have to banish that card. So it just sits in your hand or becomes ink.
Yeah. So I would move in a little quick here, but I think Kit sang Friends there.
It looks like it, yes.
The rabbit was turned sideways as well, but again, Flynn and Ursula just still questing there as well. And then another rabbit
and another cursed
and a Merfolk. Wow, this is a real quick start here.
Wow, yes, indeed.
We're gonna I mean, yes, you're leaning into a B prep, but it's still a good few turns away. So you're more than happy sort of overextending, knowing you're going to be able to turn stuff sideways for a turn or two. I don't think it's a terrible thing here. Ruby Amethyst does a lot of things very well, but ramping isn't one of them. So
it's not one of
your
them.
B prep is coming down on 7.
Yeah, he's sitting at 5 ink right now, so that's still 2 turns away. And so his Jonathan's board is safe for now. If you have a fox that maybe could come down, a Maui that could come down with 5 ink, you could take care of some things. Uses that Rafiki.
A little bit of cleaning up here. Rafiki getting rid of the Ursula. That's a fine trade. I think Jai would like to get rid of one more thing here, perhaps. But this is a Maui would be nice here,
which he does have in hand. I think I saw it there. Yeah, and you have that Flynn, and then also Cursed Merfolk, who can both quest for 2. And there comes the Maui.
There's the Maui, yeah. Any of them are fine here. Kit is the easiest trade as far as just the value you're getting out of the challenge. But Flynn is questing for 2 every turn. Rabbit is a possible bounce target just to keep the hand filled with cards. So it's a tough shout here, really. Do you lose a card from the Flynn? Do you let them draw from the Rabbit? Yeah, so we're going to lose a card from the Flynn. He's going to pitch a Lady Tremaine.
Lady Tremaine, yes.
And then goes into Kit. So yeah, did a good turn there, cleaning up as best he can. Obviously on the back row there, that Rabbit and Cursed Merfolk just moving up. Really good start for the tempo player here. Jonathan's having a great run. And again, doing exactly what I said, just putting down problems and making the Ruby Amethyst player just have the answers. Yeah. So we have another look at the hand. This time we're going to get rid of one of the B preps. We've
one.
He knew one was there from the last Ursula, but he now knows there's another one in, and that might well change the line of play here. I think he was probably hoping Ursula got rid of a single B prep and he could continue to overextend. But yeah, I think that definitely that's through a little bit of a spanner in the works, but still in a great position here.
Yeah, you could see Jonathan give a little chuckle when he saw that hand with those 2 be prepared, and he wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I think just keeping on the pressure here with Law is definitely the way to go.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure I would play anything else out here, knowing the be prepared's coming, but
I mean, he's been moving real fast, and what's he going to bounce back here?
Okay, so Snake would have bounced back Ursula. He's then replayed the Ursula straight away to get rid of the
yes.
Great line. Okay. We didn't see the actual full interaction happening, but yeah, that's what's happened there. The Snakes came down, bounced the 2-drop Ursula. He's then replayed the 2-drop Ursula to get rid of that other Be Prepared. I mean, incredible line, really. That I'd have slammed that down as soon as I saw it. So
absolutely, this deck with Jonathan is playing has just moved so fast. He's already at 15 lore, and he has enough on board to close it out next turn, unless Jia Wei has something. I mean, his only answer really was that be prepared that Jonathan took out of his hand.
That's my favorite thing about this as a tempo deck is that it can play really aggro, but it does have answers for the answers to that aggro as well. Just being able to get rid of those be prepared is just awesome.
Yeah, he does have Jia Wei does have some bigger bodies on the board, so he can take care of some of Jonathan's characters. But do you think that's going to be enough here?
I mean, it just has to, really. You always have to play to your outs. So we see a Medusa come down, which means he gets to choose something. I mean, if he gets rid of one of the readied characters, he can pretty much clear the board here. It just depends on how much he wants to keep those cards in his own hand and also deny Jonathan the card draw from those rabbits as well.
Yeah. So he's choosing Cursed Merfolk. Yeah.
So Merfolk, I mean, that seems sensible. It's shutting that discard down. Like I said, the other option would have been to take a ready character there and then throw all 3 of your challengers into the 3 exerted characters. He just does instead with the 2 rabbits. So Mary survives that. Jonathan does get to draw 2. I think there was a conservative way of dealing with the board there. It could have been a little bit more aggressive, but still, you still got to sort of have stuff on your own side afterwards.
Sure. Yeah, I think, Jia Wei only has the one card in hand right now, which is probably why he chose Cursed Merfolk, because he didn't want to discard that one card that he has left.
Doesn't gonna be. I'm not gonna be loving seeing the goat come down here. High double figures. That sort of once you get into the teens, a goat's coming down.
Bouncing it back.
Just getting so much value already. That's 2 lore off that goat. Next turn, we can do something similar. Yeah, it doesn't even want to see next turn. We're gonna go to game 2.
Wow, I've seen some great Emerald Amethyst decks, but that one Jonathan piloted so well, fast. He really was able to, like you said, it can be played a little bit differently depending on what you want to do and your opponent.
Yeah, you can definitely be a little bit more controlly, but seeing just going up against Ruby Amethyst there's just going to be a huge neon sign above your opponent saying be prepared, and you've just got to either get rid of it or race it, just get underneath it. And he was able to do both there quite comfortably, actually, with the Ursula. That bouncing the Ursula,
bouncing that back,
really great play. Exactly what you want to see from an Emerald Amethyst player. Just really, really good stuff. I'm hoping we can go to game 2 and watch some more of it.
Jump on in. I believe Jonathan went first last time, so we'll see Jai on the play. Oh, Olaf finally getting to play on the board. He's a happy snowman.
Yes, we finally see an Olaf hit the board. I wonder if we'll see him get teethed, which is the reason he's in the deck. But also, just he's able to quest and comfortably against a 2/2. So, Teeth and Ambition saw a lot of play a little bit earlier in the meta, not so much now. It would be a great card here against the Merfolk. We'll see if it's still in the deck.
So we got a couple.
It's currently in hand.
No, he's got a couple of rabbits, it looks like, and a Minnie Mouse. And we got Friends Fox over here with Jonathan. Yeah, that Cursed Merfolk.
Oh, so we're considering the Pinocchio line here,
yes,
which is obviously going to get rid of the Merfolk, but it's card draw, it's card disadvantage with the removing one instead. It's going to let that quest start happening with the Merfolk and instead put down a snake. And again, we see a similar play here with the snake bouncing back the Merfolk after questing. Perfectly acceptable just to replay the Merfolk here, and even though you're not using your ink perfectly, just having a readied Merfolk on the board that needs answered again is pretty solid. So instead we're passing, and that Olaf.
With him having that Pinocchio in hand, that was interesting to see him not choose, because Cursed Merfolk with the questing for 2. It's just a really dangerous card.
Yeah, another ink and pass there as well. So they're both sort of playing a little bit safer this time, a little bit more cautiously.
More conservative,
Ink and a Friends for Ursula.
And we got that Be Prepared coming out of Jia Wei's hand, of course.
We hit that first one. Again, you never mind. Any song hit is a good hit off the Ursula. But there you'd maybe like to have seen a more prevalent song earlier in the game. You don't really mind that Be Prepared being a bit of a dead card in your opponent's hand. So Pinocchio is exerting Ursula, but nothing else happens there, and we ready up and back up as Jonathan.
Yep. It does look like Jai was pulled another Be Prepared off the top of his deck, though, that hand. So he has another one waiting in the wings later on down the line.
The second, again, I wonder if Jonathan's going to be surprised to see it later on.
Yep. We'll see if he bounces that Ursula again.
I think if he's able to, it's a really great play. And obviously there's a lot of stuff in there that can do it. Snake, rabbit. It's definitely a good way to see it.
All right, so we got another rabbit down. Mm-hmm. Yeah, another Olaf in the inkwell.
We saw one get played today.
Do you think he's going to take out Cursed Merfolk? And he does, yeah,
and gets rid of the Pinocchio. That's fair. I think the Pinocchio's exerting stuff there definitely lose a little bit of value as the game goes on. But it's at some point you just have to get rid of that merfolk. It's a 10-turn clock, if nothing else. If it just sits there and quests every turn, the game is over in 10 turns. And that might sound like a lot, but if you just let it get away from you, at some point it's just one of those classic Emerald cards that just requires an answer, and you're never going to enjoy doing it unless you can sort of ping it off with some steel removal. But it just needs to be done.
Yeah. And we see that Queen's Castle make another appearance, and he's moving the rabbit over there, which is, I actually love that move, because if they banish the rabbit, you get to draw a card, but if he stays there, you get to draw the extra card on your turn. So I think moving the rabbit over to Queen's Castle is really great.
You're pretty much guaranteeing yourself a card draw off that interaction, right?
No matter what. Yes.
Yeah. And we don't mind that. Another rabbit coming down then. Both players just sort of fueling their hands, thinking about this mid game, thinking about moving into the end game. And again, you're seeing a lot like what we saw in the last round. That first game very quick, but now both players know exactly what the opponent's up to. They know what's happening. They're just going to start playing a little bit more steady and really know what a lot of the threats are as they move forward. So one of the rabbits just starts to chip away at the castle there, but Jonathan is going to get a draw off it here.
Yeah. I do think that's smart. The Queen's Castle can run away if you let it stay too long. So if he can chip away at it and take it out maybe next turn, maybe he brings a fox down, finish it off or something, and that would be good.
We're probably going to see a crab. Is there a crab in hand? I can't quite see. A crab with one of the rabbits would be pretty solid. Or you're right. Rabbit with then a fox bounce is pretty nice as well. But
which he does have that fox in hand, so that's
there we go.
Quite possible. Yeah. We do see a kit and a snake over here on Jonathan's side. What else does he have?
Yeah. Also another fox. We see here's an interesting one. This is Lyle Tiberius Rourke.
Lyle, yes. Can you explain this card?
I can do. I'm gonna have to bring him up because I can't quite remember what he does. He's when stuff is banished, you gain lore, I believe. Yeah. So when you play this character, chosen opposing character gains reckless during their next turn, and then whenever one of your characters is banished, each opponent loses a lore. So it's just sort of compounding. Even for there's two of them out now, and they will stack. So there's just compounding that. You have to challenge into my stuff, but you're not going to like doing it.
Interesting.
so if they're taking out a Curse Merfolk, not only are they discarding something, they're now losing 2 lore as well. At the moment, Jia doesn't have that much lore to lose. So that's a really interesting tech piece. Not a card you see much of, but pretty fun.
Yeah. I guess you could hope he doesn't have a Friends in his hand, but Friends on the other side would be nice, because then he could sing with one of his rabbits to get that card draw out of it instead of having to challenge with that reckless. And there he does bring the fox down to take out the Queen's Castle. Yeah,
exactly what you said there. One of the rabbits going in and then fox finishing it off and getting the card draw off the rabbit bouncing. Just, a really nice line. Very happy to do it. And getting rid of that castle doesn't trigger any of Lyle's abilities, because it is specifically characters being banished, not locations.
Yeah, the bounce package in Amethyst is just so good. If you're playing Amethyst, you really have to have that fox in there. There's no reason not to.
Absolutely. I don't know what the answer for this Lyle is.
Lyle, yeah.
It's a really great techie piece.
Does Lyle just stay there, do you think? Does he not exert them at all?
That's a tricky call, really. I feel like he can sort of play that tragic beast role, and just kind of sit back and let your other cards just be even worse trades. So I can see that. But then also, only questing for 1, but that two lore off Lyle towards the end of the game may well just be enough to start turning sideways. I'm not sure. It's a card I don't see often, so it's really interesting to see how it's been teched in here and how Jonathan pilots it.
We do see a Maui there, and I can't tell how much ink Jia has.
Yeah, I do really quite enjoy the sort of plain black sleeves. I think they look really nasty. It's kind of difficult to count them though.
Yes. We got bounce on the rabbit, so he gets that card draw.
And then we are questing with the Lyles. looks like. Again, they not only see each other, but they will see themselves being banished as well. So so challenging into them is still going to be a 2-law loss here with Belial. Yeah.
Okay.
So we ready up. We also got so basically that was a rabbit bounce turn there, rabbit up and back down again, just keeping that hand nice and full, giving lots of options.
Yes, it was really a different game from last game.
Yeah. You see this a lot, especially in decks that are relatively evenly matched, which I feel like these ones are, both trying to do similar points at similar times in the game. You will see that first one, you know, somebody just has the really great opening, or the opponent just isn't quite ready for it. But then game 2, you know exactly what you're working with. I can't imagine Jia was ready for Lyle's, but, but other than that, you know, this is okay. We've got Emerald Amethyst here. We know what we're working with.
Is anyone ready for Lyle's? That's
I think so.
Yeah, Reckless is such an interesting ability. So if you don't know, Reckless means that your character must challenge if able, and it's a really interesting. I know a lot of people really like the Reckless ability. What is your thoughts on that?
It's a tricky one because the problem with Reckless is you have to have something you don't mind being challenged into. You know, Emerald runs a lot of stuff that doesn't mind being challenged into, so that's really where the keyword sort of shines. But even still, there's a lot of things about Reckless that, you know, you can still have it sing, you can still have it exerted in other ways. So it's not one of my favorite abilities, but it's definitely interesting here. So Jia is down to 0 lore here, I think, at this point. I must apologize. I did call something wrong just before. It is other characters. Lyle does only see other characters, not himself.
Okay.
But each of those will have seen. So the first one going will have the Lyle will have seen the other one go. So we lost the lore from that one, but not from that second one. So yeah.
But he cleared both those off the board, which I think is good.
Definitely the first things that have to go, because otherwise it's just value out of you taking out the other stuff. I just think that even though the board state is starting to reach parity, the lore lead here that Jonathan has is really just the end all of this game, I think, really.
Yes. Yeah, so we have Jonathan now at 13 and Jaya's at 2.
Yeah. I think that may be 1 from the Lyle. But I'm not 100% sure. He may have been on 3 before. But still, either way, big lead. So we're going to see another Merfolk here now. So that's 5 on the board. So not quite happily ever after. I know that's not an official term, but it's the term I like to use for having enough lore to win next turn. Yeah, so we see Mary kind of having to go into that snake. At least it's a trade that keeps Mary on the board.
Yep.
So it's not an awful challenge.
And I think Jia is still sitting at just 5 ink over there, if I can make it out correctly. So he's not yet to the point where he could be prepared, which might be something he wants to do soon.
Yeah, I think in Ruby Amethyst, you always need to always have that sort of the escape pull, you know, the parachute cord of be prepared, ready at some point. So yeah, I think like you always kind of need to ink up to that point at least.
Yes.
And yes, it's a tough line here. I'm not sure what's in Jaya's hand, but we could, you know, really a be prepared or a Pinocchio to exert stuff. So Rabbit going into Snake there purely for the card draw at this point, I think. It's found an Inkable. Rabbit's going to quest for 1, and then we're going to see the Be Prepared. There we go. So I'm not sure if that was I'm not sure if the Be Prepared was the top deck there, or if the Inkable card was the top deck. But either way, just dug for it and found it.
Yep. Yeah. So he must have had 6 ink. It's hard to tell with those black sleeves.
Yes. Yeah.
We got a goat coming down here,
and like I said before, you know, this is the problem with Be Prepared into this point of the game. Jonathan just has the ink here to you know really keep the fuel online. Jai wouldn't mind seeing Fox is a 4/3, so a Medusa wouldn't do it, but a Tremaine would be nice.
A Tremaine would be good.
So the Flynn has come down as some Tremaine proofing. I think, honestly, if you see a Tremaine here, you probably lose the fox.
Definitely. And that's 3 lore on the board. He's sitting at 17, and we know that he has that goat in hand. So Jonathan's probably feeling pretty good right now.
Yeah, he gives it up.
That's game.
There we go. Had the Tremaine, but had already worked the line out in his head. I'll play the Tremaine. He'll banish the fox, and then the Flynn questing and the goat play is the win. So good enough players to see the line there, and had 2 really great games. But that Emerald Amethyst just was able to just run underneath and get rid of the Be Prepared when he needed to. That was awesome.
Yes. It was a great game. Yeah, well played by both players. And we are going to go to a break, and we'll see you back in round 8.
Hey everybody, I'm here with Jonathan Williams. Our lone remained undefeated. You've been 2-0-ing everybody all day long. How are you liking your deck? It seems pretty good.
I love the deck. Lone Zone play against Amber Steel is a really good deck.
Yeah, you were telling me you like your build, that you're just really, really aggressive, and like that's your main goal and plan going into today.
Yes, really aggressive, and then finish them off with a goat. And I try to just stall the board until I get the goat and then draw cards.
Yeah, having one of those turn 1 Tannon Merfolks is pretty important as well.
Yeah. Merfolk is really important, but sometimes it's like I mulligan them if I don't really know what I'm playing against, because sometimes Pascal gets really good. Pascal is really evasive. They can't answer it, and for like 5 or 6 turns, they gain 7 lore.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really good. And before we let you go, what's your favorite Disney movie and why?
My favorite Disney movie is Encanto, because I like the way the whole movie is set up, about their family's past, about how the magic came into the house and it went out and they regained the magic again. And that's about it. Yeah.
All right, well, Jonathan, you haven't lost a game all day today. Hopefully that keeps on going through the rest of the weekend. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Welcome back.